Hiya, I'm Simone Radley from England Nails, and in this video I'm going to be doing some beautiful sugared roses. So for this design I'm working on a long ballerina fit tip, and I've done 2 coats already of I-43, and this is what I'm going to use to do my roses as well. I've also top coated it with the velvet matte top coat. I like this to have a matte base, and I also find that it's easier to see your design stand out against the matte. But if you want it shiny, I mean, I've done it shiny before, so if you want it shiny I would recommend using the Ultimate No White top coat, because you don't want to have a sticky layer, because you don't want your sugared stuff to stick onto that. And for the sugared stuff I'm going to use Montreal acrylic powder, which is a white acrylic powder. I've seen people like using clear acrylic powder, which is okay, but I just find that white, it just works better and it looks better. I don't know why, it just does. So that's what I prefer to use. And I have also seen people use and ask about in the past using glitter. If you've got like a super duper fine glitter, you can use that. But again, you don't really get the same effect, to be honest. You can lose some definition in your design, so I just prefer to stick to the acrylic powder personally. I've just moved that in shot so you can see what I'm doing. I've just decanted the same colour, which is I-43, same as my base, onto my silicone pad, because that's what I'm going to work from. But I'll move that out of the way so the camera doesn't lose focus. And I'm just going to use that colour to paint my roses on. I'm using the vice versa brush, and I'm not going to lie, this brush, I have abused it a bit. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it'll be alright. I just paint my roses exactly the same as how I always paint roses for any design. So I start in the middle with 2 sort of what look like commas, and then I build my petals out from there. And I like nice fat petals. I don't like really thin skinny ones. I like a nice chunky petal on my roses. And with these I think the key is trying to fight what you naturally want to do and not make it too symmetrical, because otherwise you just end up with a totally symmetrical like round circle basically, which isn't really the best, because obviously a rose isn't naturally just a big round circle. So when you do it as well, you need to make sure that your eyelac isn't too thick when you put it on, because if it is too thick you can have curing issues when you're curing it with the acrylic powder on the top. So make sure when you paint your petals you're not just hoofing it on. So I've done my first one up here, and now I'm coming down here and doing another. I'm doing it in exactly the same way, starting from the centre and working out, and you basically just need to fill your nail and keep going. And then when you've got whole roses in, like I've got a 3 there, we need to fill these gaps. So then you end up doing some that you kind of go off the side a bit, which is fine. You just need to obviously think about your petal placement, probably a little bit more than what you do on your whole ones, because you need to think about obviously where you're going to start and which bit is going to come off the edge, and you don't want to do them all the same. And also something to think about when you're doing this is you obviously want your petals to stay apart, which is hard because obviously rose petals are naturally quite close together, but you don't want them to sort of blob into one, because if you do, obviously when you come to sugaring it even more so, it's just going to look like a blob. And you'll lose any sort of definition that you had. So I'm quite happy with that. So now I'm going to put my acrylic powder on. I'm propping the pot up because it's not very full, so I'm just using a colour pop to scoop it on. And when you do this, it's the same as if you were doing anything like this, like if you was doing knitted nails or anything like that. When you pour it on, your acrylic powder, it'll start to sink into your gel polish. You've got to keep pouring it on until it looks matte, because if you cure it when it looks a bit shiny, it'll stay shiny. And the reason why it might go a bit shiny at first is because the acrylic powder just soaks in to your wet gel polish. And obviously we want that nice matte sort of textured look on the roses. We don't want it shiny. So keep pouring and make sure you don't hit your design with your stick. I've done it before on a client and it was a disaster. Right, so I'm going to stick that into cure and I'm going to cure it for double time, so I'm going to give it 120 seconds. So now it's come out of the lamp, I'm going to dust it off, and I like to use sweeper. So it's quite a stiff brush really, but you don't need to worry about it, it'll be fine. It just dusts off obviously the excess acrylic powder, so you can see your design properly. And I love this design. It's so effective, but it's really easy. And yeah, I just love it. It's nice and neutral. So it's really good for people who sort of want maybe a design, want a bit of nail art, but they don't want anything too crazy, or they can't have anything like too crazy for work. And it's also really nice for brides. Yeah, I love it. And that is it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up and ring that notification bell so you can see all of our new videos. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!